It's all good. It's fine.
It's fine. Everything's fine.
Little things.
Everything's fine.
Everything's fine.
It's like real close.
Hey guys, welcome back. My name's Kristen.
I'm Jenna, and
I'm Felicia.
We have a guest.
we have a guest. Our first guest.
First guest.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it so much.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, we're stoked to have you.
Thank you.
And it's perfect timing because
it's Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and I am a stage 4 breast cancer survivor.
fuck yeah.
Fighter, for sure.
right.
It's amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah, and
We have lots of questions.
we
Good.
do have
I
lots
have
of
lots of
questions.
answers.
You have a lot to say.
Yes.
We haven't seen each other for like 12 years, 10 years or something.
I would say 11 years.
Yeah.
Solid.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's been a really long time. The last time I saw you, I actually was dating another firefighter that lived in Redondo Beach.
Very
So
true.
Does Kristen
I
have a
actually
type?
Apparently I'm a badge. My husband called me a badge bunny once, and I was like, what the fuck is a badge bunny? And he's like, oh, sit down.
Let me explain to you.
Let me tell you something. Let me show you something.
I mean, I wouldn't call you bad. Two's not a bad. And 11 years apart, like.
I was dating another firefighter
Oh,
when I
no.
met him. Okay, I don't have a freaking type, but I do have to say that as a strong woman and an entrepreneur, I do find it hard to date certain types of like personalities and just the personality that comes with a firefighter. Usually, I'm not saying they're all the same, but I just like that strong, manly, like that's hot to me. Gets me fucking wet. So.
She's like, works for me.
Yeah, so we haven't seen each other for a really long time, and we're also trying to figure out how we met, and we don't really know.
I can't remember. We've done a couple photo shoots for, what was your jewelry line?
Sideshow by the Sea.
Sideshow by the Sea. I passed out flyers for you in LA. It's like one of my first jobs when I moved here. You were like, I need someone to pass out flyers. And I was like, I need money. I'll do it.
Yeah.
And I went around with this huge box of her flyers and put them on like every car, every business. I would like put them wherever I could. I mean, we were talking about like Instagram was hardly like.
Yeah, it wasn't.
It looked like MySpace almost. Like the pictures were so pixelated and so dark, and the filters, and like you go back into your Instagram, you're like, what was I doing?
Yeah.
So I'm like, I almost feel like we met through like Model Mayhem, through somebody else that was shooting and like suggested. If anyone knows, if you're watching, let us know, because I have no idea.
No clue.
Can't remember.
But since I've seen you, a lot has happened, obviously. So tell us about your story.
So I just celebrated 3.5 years cancer-free.
Yeah.
Hey, that's
amazing.
awesome.
So
Good
cool.
for you.
But
Cheers to that.
Yes.
Cheers.
Cheers. Huge accomplishment.
Love how you hit the table. It's like I feel like we're
got to.
supposed to do a shot.
Let's do it. Said we're drinking Olipop.
Uh-huh.
Please sponsor us. Apparently, it's really good. I've never had
It's
it.
the best.
It's the best.
I just need to find the cream soda and I'll be super happy.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was misdiagnosed in 2018. I found a lump myself. You know, when you're like, I have a bigger bust and natural boobs, and sometimes at the bottom of your sports bra it kind of slips out.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh, that's kind of uncomfortable. So I literally just like reached my hand down the movies and like picked up my boob, and I was like, oh, that's weird. It was like right in the bottom, forward facing on my left breast, and it felt like a marble. Like not too hard, but it was like definitely not something I'd ever felt in myself before.
Yeah.
And Brent and I had been together for about 4.5 years at that time, and I was like, hey, when we got home, I was like, can you feel this? And he's like, yeah, that doesn't feel like you. And at the time, I was working per diem, so I didn't qualify for insurance through my work. I didn't qualify for Medi-Cal because I made too much money, but I didn't make enough for Obamacare. I certainly did not make enough money to pay for private insurance. We all know that's insanely expensive.
right.
And I had never gotten a cold. Like, I didn't even take birth control. I didn't need insurance. I was like a healthy 29-year-old.
Right.
And I went to a free clinic. And they were like, did an ultrasound, they did a physical examination. They were like, nothing to worry about. It's a benign gunky cyst. You're too young for breast cancer. Don't worry about it.
So just based on your age, they just wrote it off without even wanting to test it?
Yeah, because I asked them.
Can you sue those people?
No. I thought about it. I'm past the statute of limitations. Is that statute?
Yeah.
Stature?
Statute.
Statute of limitation.
STATUTE, I believe.
Okay, statute of limitations. And my oncologist at the time, once we got past all of this, she was like, I would rather you concentrate on like beating cancer than suing somebody right now, because it's not going to change
totally
what
understand that.
you know? I mean, my head, I was like, cha-ching, like, I'm going to be set for life. But
also, they're giving people misdiagnosis.
oh yeah,
right?
they're killing people. Yeah.
Did they even check you in any type of way, or did they just ask you questions?
They did a physical examination and ultrasound. That was it. And
So the ultrasound didn't show.
it showed a gunky cyst. Just
Wow.
nothing to worry about. And I was like, I'm almost 30 and I've never had a cyst in my breast. Like, how is this just like...
And what does a
Yeah.
cyst look like versus breast cancer on an ultrasound? Like, what's the difference?
I think so. It's hard because some women are like, oh my gosh, a mammogram missed mine, but an ultrasound found it. So I think it's just like, we just need to be tested thoroughly across the board. Like,
Right.
mammogram, it should be a physical examination, ultrasound, mammogram, and then a biopsy to be like 100%
like,
for sure.
Let's figure out what
Let's
it
figure
is
out what it
and
is.
not guess.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
so we got the results back. My blood work was great. I was doing the Tokyo Auto Salon. I was internationally modeling, riding motorcycles, CrossFitting, like living a really fun life. And they're like, do you have any other symptoms? I'm like, I feel great. Like, they're like, okay, do you have any family history? And I'm like, no. And they're like, okay, well, don't worry about it then. Just come back if it bothers you aesthetically. And I was like,
Ugh.
okay, no.
Seems a little reckless and careless.
Yeah, I was like, okay, like I know I don't have insurance, but like I don't think I should be disregarded so quickly like that. So I asked him, I was like, well, can we just do a mammogram? Like I have large breasts and, you know, like, I don't know. And so the doctor at the clinic I went to submitted to the program for it and it was denied. And this is based on the government and healthcare protocols. And, you know, I didn't fit into this category. Like when you're in healthcare, it's not individual to each person. You're put into categories and that's how they decide what testing you're going to do, what you need, what medications you need. And
if you don't fit into their little, you know,
then
frame of what you are.
shit out of luck. Like,
Right.
yeah. And it literally came back denied due to age and no family history. So I was like, okay, well, can I get a mammogram? Like, I don't know, like, it's weird. Like, this isn't normal for me. We submitted twice and both times it came back denied due to age and no family history. I'm not over 45. And I was like,
Is that I'm curious what the percentage is for breast cancer. Why would they have this category set up like that and not take a second look if there's people like you out there?
I have no idea because every appointment I've gone to, every waiting room I've been in, I'm not the youngest by far.
Yeah,
in their 20s, 18, 11.
They're getting
11-year-olds with
diagnosed
breast
younger
cancer.
and younger and younger.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Like
Wow.
it's like people I find, they're like, same thing said to me. I was 27. They told me no. I was 39. They told me no.
I think they've learned by now.
I asked for one once because I felt something and they said no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, what do you mean no? Like, and I didn't know until I was in where I am in the community that there are foundations that will pay for it, but that's not given to us as young women. We're not taught in, you know, sex ed, like, oh, touch yourself on the same, you're supposed to be doing your mammogram or your physical examination the same day every single month, so that your hormones are the same, so your body is the same. Because
interesting.
your period makes, I don't have periods anymore, but your period makes your breast change, makes your tissue change. If you have a cold, if you
Yeah.
have something, so you can kind of tell like every month if you do not, we call it in the community, fill it on the first. So you fill it on the first, and you can go to Keep a Breast website, and they have an app, and it teaches you how to do a full examination. If you're too embarrassed to ask somebody, it'll go through videos, these like beautiful cartoon videos of how to fully check yourself.
We'll link you guys to all this like in the description
Yeah.
box below as well. And I will say, I just want to put this out there too. If like you're not doing something medically for yourself because insurance won't approve it, you can actually like rack up the most incredible medical bill you've ever seen in your life and literally pay like $5 a month. And as long as you're paying something on it every month, they cannot send you to collections.
Yep.
So do not
good to know.
miss out on something like a mammogram or something because your insurance is denying it. Like, go.
You can also call places, like I didn't know then that you
The
can call
resources.
and be like, how much is cash for a mammogram? I didn't know that. You just assume that like, well, you have to have an
learn-
authorization.
right.
Yeah, but we're not taught these
They
things.
make you feel like that.
Yeah,
I
like
learned
you're
that with
trapped.
my pregnancy and my birth. Like, oh, you can't leave right now, or this isn't going to be covered. And I said, well, I'm fucking leaving. So
Then don't cover it. Send me the bill. Like
Yeah.
I don't. It's my life. It's
Right.
my health. And I wish anyone. I would never wish this on anybody. But had I seen anyone on social media or anyone in my life being like, fight for testing, go do this, you can go here, I would have done it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have laid down and been like, yeah, hopefully it's not cancer. Like, see you later. You know, like.
Well, and who doesn't like a positive diagnosis?
Yeah.
Like you're like, oh,
that's
okay,
what
I'm
I was
good,
thinking
I'm
when I
good.
read your
Like,
story and
yeah.
people. I was like, oh, I feel like I would cling on to that and just be like, okay,
Absolutely.
great, and put my head in the sand and be like, okay, no, they said I was fine.
Yeah,
Right,
and I
like-
did for months. I was like, they said I was fine. I had no other symptoms. Like, not the typical, like, I wasn't nauseous, I wasn't losing weight, I wasn't feverish, I had nothing, not a
That's
single damn
crazy.
symptom.
I was gonna say, even like
Wow.
looking back now, you're not like, okay, maybe I could have, or that felt like, but no.
Yeah.
No, my blood work was amazing. I was ripped. I had abs. Like, it was like, life was great. Like, I had no reason to go. And I did car shows, and I did SEMA every single year, and I was in like one of those bandage dresses. And no one else could really notice, but I kind of noticed. I was like, oh, it's getting kind of big. Like, if I turn to the side, like, it's just not as smooth as the other side.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, like, it doesn't hurt or anything. And eventually it got, like, from 8 centimeters from the top to the bottom.
Oh, wow.
And that's when I was like, okay, I need to go in. And it got that large because it happened towards, like, October, so around this time. And, you know, the holidays happen. It's hard to get an appointment. I'm like, you know what? They said I'm fine. Like, I'll go in the new year. Like, things will be easier to get in. I'm not so busy, you know?
Yeah.
And I was actually snowboarding, and I totally ate shit, hit my chest, and it just got really red and painful. And I was like, oh, I must have, like, popped the cyst or something. Like, I don't know. So I was like, okay, like, I needed to go in anyways. So I went in, and immediately it was like, I went in, they did a physical examination, another ultrasound. I went back to work because I was like, I'm fine, like, whatever. Called me in, you need to come back immediately. Immediately did another ultrasound and mammogram. And I was like, okay, they're probably just kind of freaking out because it's big and maybe they want to get me in sooner. And then an hour later, they're like, hey, you need to come back down to the office. We need to talk to you right now. And I was like, shit.
The pit
like
in your stomach.
And I was driving there, and I was like, son of a bitch. You know, like.
And you're like, I fucking told
you guys something was wrong. And
like, I'm curious, like, in that moment, like, what's going through your mind?
It was kind of just like a numb shock. Like, I was like, okay. Because I didn't told anybody. Like, only my boyfriend knew. No one, my mom, I was like, I don't want to worry everybody. And we had just lost his cousin to pancreatic cancer. And I was like, dude, like, I can't tell his family that I'm, like, you know, going to get biopsies or, like, this is happening. Like, I just want to wait until I know. And he was out of town working. And I called him. He's like, okay, well, they said you're okay. Like, let's just stay positive. Maybe they just, like, maybe you did rupture it and they need to get it out because maybe it'll make you sick. Like, let's just, you know, stay positive. And I was like, okay. And I walked in, and the fucking doctor had an authorization to a breast cancer center, and it had the word breast cancer on it and highlighted. And she says, you have breast cancer. I don't know what stage it is or anything about it, but you need to go immediately. And I was like,
shit.
You just a few months ago, you told me. And she's like, you need to go, like, right now. And I was like, okay. So I drove there in hysterics, calling my boyfriend. I'm like, it's cancer. And he's like, what? Like, we haven't done biopsies. Like, you don't. And I'm like, nope. She says it's cancer. Get to the breast cancer center. And the ladies there were amazing. They're like, just calm down. I don't know why they scare you like this. Like, we need to do a mammogram or an MRI and biopsies and PET scan. Like, let's figure it out. So within 3 days, maybe less than a week, all of a sudden I was approved for emergency mammogram, emergency PET scan, emergency MRI, emergency biopsies. I had 3 in this breast, 2 in this breast, and 2 in my armpit.
Oh my God.
It was gnarly, and all in the same appointment. They had to put, like, little metal markers in there so they could go back to the ultrasound or the mammogram and see where it is. So I was, like, getting poked with anesthetic and then needles, like, deep inside my breast where I had to, like, lay on this table where my back was like this, my boob is down here, and a needle's in here. And they're doing it by microscope because it's so small, and they want to make sure they get everything. And then they put me in the mammogram machine while I'm literally still bleeding. Like,
oh my gosh.
The care that women have is absolutely fucking insane. Like, if this was a man, like, sorry to say it, but they would be anesthetic, you'd be under, you'd be, like, off work for a week. And I'm like, you guys are just, like, torturing me all day long. And I'm by myself because I was like, I'm just going to go do it. Like, I don't need anyone else crying in the waiting room waiting for me, you know? Like, I'm tough like that. I'm like, I'm just going to go fucking do it myself. Like, I don't need anyone else's emotions. I'm trying to keep myself together. And
I have a question for that, for people that may be listening that are going through something similar. Do you regret not having, like, the support of your boyfriend there at the time, or, like, bringing family members in on the journey? Did that make it easier or more difficult for you?
For me, I'm a very, like, I internalize everything, and then I, like, because I become extremely emotional. If someone else breaks down, I lose it. And I'm like, I can't lose it because I don't know what I'm dealing with.
I can relate to that for sure.
You know, like, I mean, it would have been nice to not fully be alone. Like, driving was really hard, and I have, like, bandages all over my freaking tits, and my armpit's sore, and I'm, like, bleeding, you know, and I'm kind of like...
Just got poked and prodded, got the craziest news of your life.
You know, and I have to give a shout out to nurses, because there was a nurse there that was, like, totally off the clock, but she, like, set down her bags, because she saw me crying in the machine, and, like, petted my hair, and, like, wiped my tears off, and she's like, honey, it's going to be okay. Like, totally mom-moded me. And it was awesome because
that's so sweet.
A family member wouldn't have been able to go back there anyway, so it was a sterile situation. And just to have that person, that was nice. But it was nice because there was a disconnect. I don't have an emotion with her, you know, where, like, I could, like,
think about their feelings. Like, you can think about what's going on with yourself right now.
Exactly. And I'm very weary of other people's feelings. And I'm like, because if you break down, I'm going to break down real hard, and you're going to be, like, kind of panicked with, like, how emotional I'm going to get.
Yeah.
So... for me, it was a lot easier just to do things by myself and just get it done and over with.
Yeah.
And then deal with it later. It was just like, okay, I did that now. And I went back to work after my biopsies. Like, I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do. Like, I'm just going to go to work. Like,
so that appointment was to test it or to remove it?
To test it. No, they never removed it. Yeah.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I didn't. Luckily, with everything going on, I didn't have to have major surgery. I fired my first oncologist, which is something I want other people to know. Is my first oncologist is going to kill me. She didn't give me time for fertility. She didn't tell me what chemo I was taking. I was just another number on the door through a government-assisted program that she was going to get a check for. Like,
Gosh.
it was horrible.
Disgusting.
We could talk for days about how traumatic my entire experience was. It was truly, truly horrific.
A lot of doctors don't tell you what they're doing or
No.
what is going on.
No.
I find that a lot. Like,
I called them for 2 weeks and they still wanted. I'm like, or not 2 weeks, but like 2 days, and I was like, but what chemo? Like, I need to know the side effects. Like, what do I need to prepare for? And she gave me a chemo that was damaged my heart. I had to go to the cardiologist for months afterwards because I was having like
my
heart pain, and
gosh.
it just. And I called my boyfriend because I was laying on the bathroom floor, losing my hair. I couldn't swallow my own spit. My roommate at the time tried to make me like a teeny tiny protein shake. She's like, you haven't eaten in 2 days. I haven't had water in 2 days. I was like spitting into a cup. Like, I couldn't do anything. And I called her and I was like, hey, like, I can't see. My head's hurting. She's like, take a Norco. I'm like, I can't swallow the spit that's in my mouth.
Oh my
I
gosh.
haven't eaten in 2 days. And my boyfriend, like, I'm rocking
Wow.
at CVS waiting for Norco to see if we could like grind it up and like somehow get it in, like, absorbed. I'm like, I don't know, put it on
just
my
do a line of
tongue.
Norco. Like,
I know. I'm like, should I snort it? Is that what you want me to do? Like,
Oh my
how am I supposed to
gosh.
get it into my body? And so I
just
fired
totally
her.
jaded. Like, just
She didn't give
just
a shit.
total
No,
disconnect.
not at
She
all.
didn't give a shit. I was sitting in the seat for chemo, and they played me a video because it's a government-assisted program that said 1 drop of chemo can make you sterile. And I was like, I am barely 30, and I don't. She's like, well, I'm
Whoa.
trying to save your life. And she said, yeah, I'm a mom. I probably should have mentioned that to you. And I was like, my poor
Mom or not, hello.
horrible. My
What the
boyfriend's
hell?
mom was with me during my
Wow.
first chemo. He happened to be out of town. My mom was out of town, and I was very like, I don't really care. Like, no one needs to come with me. Like, I just want to get this fucking over with. Like,
Right.
I don't care. But she came, and poor thing had to see. Like, I ripped out my IV. I was screaming. I was like, fuck that doctor. I don't ever want to see her again. Like, yeah, I didn't want kids like last year, but that's because that's my decision. Like,
You still need to be given all of the
yes.
information.
I'm like,
Yeah,
I'm not
that's-
old enough to make a decision for the rest of my life if I want kids or not. And I'm not gonna die, lady. Like, I don't know what you think, but like, I'm gonna have a future. And so I did the chemo because she scared me so much. She's like, you're gonna die. And I was like, so I did it, and
Whoa.
it was the worst.
a lot of things that like that I feel like doctors say too, like, you're never gonna walk again. Like, fucking watch me.
Yeah,
You know how many people
those
do?
doctors need to be fired.
You need doctors that are supportive and
Yes.
like give you hope.
I'm like, stop with the statistics. Like, we're individuals. Like, yeah, okay, maybe that person didn't make it, and that's really horrible. But like, I'm gonna try my goddamn best. Like, I'm not gonna die. And so I fired her, and I went with the oncologist that I have now. She had me cancer-free in 6 rounds of chemo. I was doing chemo, and 2 days later at the river, like,
That's awesome.
not partying. I was LaCroix in my hands, like everyone has beers, and I'm like, yeah.
You can still party without
Yeah.
drinking.
Yeah, like, oh yeah, like I still have like 1 glass. Like, I'm very conservative with my energy when it comes to drinking and that stuff. But yeah, so it was wild, and it was just like every corner I turned, I had to fight for better care. I had to fight for a better oncologist. I had to fight for more
Advocate
testing.
for yourself like crazy.
It was crazy. I was like, I'm already trying to fight for my life, and I'm fighting against the people that are supposed to be saving me.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah,
and I had to
totally.
learn all of this on my own. Like, okay, you're fucking fired, bye. And she's like, what? And I was like, yeah, we're done. Like, send my paperwork to somebody else. Like, I'm not going to be someone's going to die in your care. Because I was like,
Yeah.
there's no way I'm going to survive this. I'm literally laying on the floor, starving, and barely, I'm like spitting into a cup and onto the floor because I can't swallow my own spit without gagging. Like, not going to happen.
Jeez.
Gosh,
Yeah.
yeah, there's so much to it that like you don't know unless you're in it.
Yeah, you
Like,
don't.
And then you have to navigate it while you're in it, while you're dealing with a crisis. But I mean, I didn't even know that there were different types of chemo.
Oh, yeah. And that I was
so,
like,
I didn't know that either.
yeah,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
you're
there's
saying that
so
they gave
many
you one that
different-
like affected your heart and like
it's called adriamycin, and it's literally nicknamed the Red Devil because it's red in color. And it literally was, I was like, I'm not going to make this. Like, yeah, I'm definitely going to die. Like, I've never felt pain or like such a full, it was like the life was literally sucked out of my body, like almost instantly.
I wonder why they would
Gosh.
choose that. Just
It does help with some people. Like, some people do like 7 to 13 rounds of
my
adriamycin, which
gosh.
I'm like, those people are heroes in my eyes. Because I was like, I will not do it again. I told her, I was like, I'm not
Wow.
doing this again. I haven't eaten in 2 days. I haven't drank water in 2 days. How am I supposed to survive and keep my body strong if I can't? And you're not giving me IV fluid. Like, it took me my boyfriend like 4 times to get through to the front office. Like, hey, she just had chemo with your office and she's not doing okay. Like, something's wrong. And instead of
Yeah.
saying like, go to the ER or come in for fluids, like, I'll take a Norco. I'm like,
That is so,
you-
just seems so irresponsible on so many
Irresponsible.
levels.
But so admirable that you like listen to your body and listen to your gut
Yeah.
and your instincts, and you knew that that wasn't right for you, and you made the switch, and you're here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My new doctor's amazing. She had me tumor-free in 6 months, and I've been tumor-free for 3.5 years. We didn't have to have any major surgeries. I didn't have to have a mastectomy. She didn't want to put my body through more than I needed to. She's like, you've been through enough. Let's just like let you heal. And if it
Yeah.
comes back, then we can talk about a mastectomy.
So did it just shrink? Did it go away? Is it
Yeah,
still
it
there?
just started like shrinking, and now I have no active tumors.
Wow.
So with stage 4, I'm on chemo every day. So I take a pill form of chemo every
Got
day,
it.
3 weeks on with a 2-week break in between those 3 weeks. And I take a hormone blocker every single night, and I took my ovaries and fallopian tubes to stop the production of estrogen, which put me into menopause at age 31,
Wow.
right before I turned 31,
Wow.
which has been way harder than anything else. It's fucking bizarre what menopause does.
Yeah, I've heard some stories here and there about it.
It's a nightmare. It's really,
Yeah.
like every day, like I have to deal with osteoporosis, achy bones. Like I have to get bone scans to make sure that like there's no damage to my bones. Early menopause does take years off your life, and I don't like to like talk about statistics, but it is what it is. Like it just is really hard on your body. But I had to do it to survive, and just trying to save, if I can save one person from being in my situation, or one more person, I can educate them on like, you can find these foundations. You just really have to Google it. You really have to call like, and to teach people like about pink washing, where companies are like, I don't know if you guys saw Crumble on my page that I just posted.
Yeah.
Pink washing, like
We were talking about that.
bullshit. And now all of a sudden they're like, don't, but I can go into that forever. But
Yeah.
Tell
So-
everyone what pink washing
Yeah, what
is.
is that exactly?
so pink washing means that like, I won't use Lollipop. Let's just say this can. They put a pink ribbon on it, and they're like, oh my gosh, breast cancer. And your friends and family or someone's like, oh, I'm going to buy that because it's for breast cancer. But they don't give a dime to any
like
person.
false advertisement.
False advertisement.
Yeah.
And they're just marketing off of our pain, suffering, and people dying to make money, because you go to the dollar store, there's pink shit thrown up in every single, aisle, and every company's like, oh, we support breast cancer. Well, where's the funding going? Where are
Right.
you doing this? Like,
Yeah.
we have a right to ask those questions. Like, I will reach out to companies all the time. I'm like, cool, you didn't post where you're donating to.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
where are you donating to? Who
Right.
are you donating to? How much are you donating? Like, and that's just like the Crumble thing. Like, I will never buy Crumble cookies ever again.
Yeah.
They did a whole line of breast cancer cookies this week to honor his grandmother, who passed away after 25 years of battling the disease, without a penny of those $4 each cookies going to research.
That is
and then
insane.
7 hours after he posted
in
it,
the world.
yeah, 7 hours afterwards, all of a sudden he's like, well, I'm going to make a personal donation. And I'm like, you have over 300 stores. You can't give $1 of each damn cookie to any sort of charity? But you're
It's
gonna, what's
also
your,
a write-off too.
I'm like, are you
like on
dumb?
top of the fact that why aren't you fucking doing this?
Yeah.
Wow, I hadn't heard about that.
yeah. So I posted it all over the place, and it's just been about teaching my friends and family, like, first of all, I got the cancer that's pink, and I hate pink. I don't have anything that's pink. And all of a sudden I had boxes of pink shit, and I was like, thank you, that's really nice, but like, I don't like it. But also it's like,
We love pink.
yeah. I like pink on other things. Like I like neon sign. I like when other people wear pink, but for me, that's not the color I reach for, and that's not
Right.
the color that makes me feel comfortable.
Yeah.
And
I don't
telling,
wear pink either, really, but I love it.
I like it. Like I like the chair. I like the sign. Like I'm like, oh, that's cute. Like I like this. But like, would I buy this to wear it or like put it decoration in my home? No, it's just not
Yeah.
who I am. And I had to tell my friends and family, like, you really can't just go buy everything that has a pink ribbon. They're stealing your money.
Yeah.
And the important thing is, like, I don't want gifts. I want funding. I want this to become a chronic disease. I don't want to die. Like, I don't want, I'm terminal, and I don't want, like, a ticking time bomb above my head. Like, we need to stop with the whole pink and pink ribbons and everything's for breast cancer, and just literally give research to make this possible for people to live long, healthy lives with any stage of breast cancer.
yeah.
So what does that mean?
it's like
'Cause
virtue
you're-
signaling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're in your recovery.
I'm in
3 years.
remission.
Remission. But then you're terminal.
So
So what is?
that's like a very, and I'm glad you asked that, because it's very controversial when I talk like that, because to me, my goal is to always be cancer free, which
Right.
means I have no active cancer.
Okay.
I have no tumors, but I will always have cancer because it's already metastasized to other organs in my body, which means the cancer's floating around in my body, and the medications I am on keep it dormant so it doesn't come back again.
Got it.
Hopefully for as long as we possibly can.
Got it.
Yeah, if I make it to 5 years, that's like a massive a massive accomplishment. And I won't talk statistics because statistics are triggering for me,
Yeah.
but it's very, very low with people with my stage that make it to 5 years. Very, very, very low. But we're getting better. We're getting better technology, better medications. When I was diagnosed, my oncologist said to me, you're not lucky to have breast cancer, but you're lucky to have it now because just in the last 2 years, which was 5 years ago now, the technology and trials and medications have boomed that if this doesn't work, we'll try this. Where before, like if it didn't work, it didn't work.
Yeah.
And that's what's so important about funding and research. If you're going to buy anything for your friends fighting or you want to support breast cancer, donate to companies that are literally fighting every day to find better medications and better ways to make us live longer. And hopefully stop women and men, because men can get breast cancer too, from being in my position. And that's the goal, is to try to save as many lives as we possibly can.
Well, I know we'd love to have some of those foundations that that are legit.
Absolutely.
And we can link
and
those all
resources
before.
about how to test yourself. And I'm curious, so talking about like not necessarily remedies, but like, have you heard when people say if you eat a certain way and your body's alkaline, your body cannot grow cancer? How do you feel about that?
That's not true. No.
Okay.
I mean, a perfect example is like athletes. Athletes are on, like NBA players, cyclists, or just these. I mean, Khloe Kardashian just got cancer cut out of her face, and they are literally have millions of dollars, and I'm sure they eat really clean and organic. Everyone has cancer in their body. It's just when it mutates. Yep. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I mean, not eating red food coloring and preservatives and garbage is definitely way better. But it comes down to just living a healthy lifestyle, being active. Like 30 minutes of workout a day can decrease your chances of breast cancer and cancer in general. So it's just about being healthy. But like, I still have pizza. I still have red wine. I'm like, my doctor's, she's never told me to follow a certain diet. She said, eat what makes you happy in moderation. You want a glass of wine? Have a glass of wine. You want that cheesecake? Eat it. Have it every day? Absolutely not.
Right.
Yeah.
But I've had people be like, oh, you should try dog dewormer. You should eat apricot seeds. You should. And I'm like, do you think that if that was true, there would be this many people with cancer?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
How,
I was gonna ask
in that same vein, how do you feel about, I think you were going to say something, I've heard my dad has made it for himself because he's had basal skin cancer or whatever. And he makes this, like he not melts down, but cooks down basically a bunch of pot and makes this like really intense
The oil.
oil shit. And do you know anybody that's tried that?
I don't know anyone personally that's tried it. I feel like that's a better route to go than like, if you were to figure out you're going to be diagnosed with cancer or you are diagnosed with cancer, shocking your body into a completely different diet is just going to put a ton of stress on your body. Like definitely change your habits, eat more greens, try to eat organic, try to eat like homegrown, don't be eating McDonald's every single day and, drinking alcohol and soda and stuff like that. But with that oil, I feel like because it's such a natural substance, it can only do good for your body. I mean, I take THC gummies every single night to sleep, and I've noticed a massive difference in my health. Like, I'm sleeping good, I'm not stressed out, like, it just helps your body recover. And I think with that oil, what it does is it just pretty much knocks your ass out, so you're just sleeping, and that's when you do the most recovery for your body. I've heard great things, but I haven't heard someone personally that's like, oh my God, I was cured from it. It's kind of hard to believe people. I'm like, but were you really, or did you do chemo and surgery and then you took that also?
Yeah, it's hard to know which that did it.
But I think THC in cancer is fantastic. It helps you eat, helps you sleep, it relaxes you, just makes life a lot easier. So I'm 100% a THC fan. I don't smoke because I had cancer in both my lungs, but I wish I would have found like the gummies that I'm on now way sooner in my journey, because I didn't sleep. Like menopause makes you an insomniac. The stress, like everything, like I wasn't sleeping for days, like maybe a couple hours here and there, and I was like, this can't be healthy.
No, it can't be.
No, not at all.
My neighbors my parents had a neighbor who, I think my dad made him that oil, and his cancer he was like in remission.
That's awesome.
And then unfortunately he started smoking again and stopped taking it, and then he passed away.
Yeah.
So
But the key there is he started smoking again.
Yeah.
So he's bringing toxins into his body.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have to become like a hippy dippy vegan, but like, be logical. You can't have a beer every single night. You can't have a cocktail every single night. You can't binge McDonald's and have Panda Express and, do all that stuff. You have to keep a moderation of it.
Yeah.
And if that oil is working, you should be taking that every day.
Right.
Every day.
If I were him, I don't think I'd ever pick up another cigarette again in my
Ever.
life.
Yeah.
Like, I'd be
Ever.
like, oh my gosh, like,
No.
this is a blessing. I'm not going to ruin it.
Yeah.
But I'm curious, like, what would you have to say to people going into maybe chemo or just, like, starting this fight? Like, what words of advice do you have or encouragement?
The number one thing I talk about is your support system. So I figured out very quickly who was actually on my side and who was not on my side. You wouldn't think this would be a topic, but people are very opinionated on how you go about your cancer. And I lost a lot of friends that
Interesting.
were like, you're not posting the bad stuff enough. You're begging for money on the internet. They were like, why aren't you guys selling everything you own and moving with your parents instead of begging people on the internet for money? And I'm like,
Wow.
First of all, I didn't start my GoFundMe. Second of all, why should I have to destroy my entire life that's supposed to keep, like, what am I supposed to look forward to? Going home to a room where my boyfriend's miserable because we sold everything we possibly own, and, like, that doesn't make any sense to me. Where I donate to GoFundMe because I want to. Like, that's my $5 cup of coffee. If that helps that person live a better life or get better treatment or, do whatever, then so be it. So I wish I would have ditched those people way sooner instead of learning a hard lesson while I was fighting for my life.
Yeah. They somehow make it about themselves.
Every single time.
Yeah.
They were like, I wouldn't do this, or this is how, and I'm like, well, good, then when you get cancer, you can do it that way, but this is how I'm doing it.
Right.
Yeah.
If I want to take my GoFundMe, or anybody that I donate to, if you want to take your GoFundMe and travel the world and not, address your situation, that's on you. I don't donate to judge what you do with your money.
Right.
And that is, like, my number one thing as I tell people. I'm like, you have to have those people that are on your side and do it the way that you want it. And don't let people steer you away from what you want to do. If you want to go to this doctor, go to that doctor. If you want to drink alcohol, drink alcohol. It's your journey, and don't let anybody tell you how to do it. And but at the same time, if you're at a doctor's office and you're, like, in your gut, you're like, this isn't right. Like, I don't feel right. Like, how is this going to end? Like, what does this mean? Then that means you need to find another doctor.
Yeah.
You need to listen to your heart and be like, this doesn't feel good. If you're not getting the care that you deserve and you're not feeling like you're making progression, it's okay to change your doctors. It's okay to go get a second opinion. And I think a lot of people feel like they're stuck with that oncologist or that nurse or that doctor. And I'm like, I fired all of my care team. I'm like, you're all out the fucking window. Like, I'm not, and I knew it. I was like, I'm not going to live if I stay with these people. Like, I'm just a number. I'm just a paycheck. And I found what worked for me. And not to say that it's like the golden ticket and that's why I'm still alive today, but I feel like it gave me hope and it gave me peace that I didn't have to worry about their job. That's their job. Right. My job is to live and live my life the way that I feel is best in my situation, and be open with your family members and friends. Like, I know it's really hard to talk about stuff, but if you tell them what you need, like, hey guys, I don't like pink, or hey, like, I just want to have a cup of coffee and go to a girls' night and not talk about having cancer. Even though I look like I'm bald and I look sick and people are staring, like, I just want to have a girls' night. Or I just want to go on a date and I don't want to talk about cancer. I don't want it to be a pity party. Like, please invite me to the bachelorette party. If I can't go, then I can't go, but don't not invite me. And I think it's a conversation you have to have with your family and friends. And I learned that very quickly. I was like, this is all really overwhelming, and I feel like I owe people stuff because they're doing things for me, and I don't like that, but then I feel bad telling them I don't like that. But it's really stressful, and it just has come to the point where I'm like, hey, like, Breast Cancer Awareness Month, like, don't send me statistics, don't tag me in shit, I don't need to read it. Like, I only have a one-track mind right now, and you can ask me if I'm willing to, hey, I found this and I want you to read the article. I'm like, okay, when I have the capacity, I'll read it. But in the beginning, it was like, read this and do this and follow this person and talk to this person and do this. And I'm like, guys, I am, like, barely trying to open my eyes for the day.
That's a lot.
It's a lot. And I think that would have helped me in the beginning had I just been, like, really selfish, honestly.
Yeah.
And been like, sorry you don't like it and sorry you don't feel like I'm giving enough back, but I need to survive.
Yeah.
It literally is life or death.
And there's a sense of empowerment, I think, too, with, like, being able to tell people how you feel, putting up those boundaries, choosing your doctors, because you have to be empowered and be in control. It's a mindset, I think.
Exactly.
And I think, like, you seem like you're just like a fighter, and you're like, I'm gonna do this. And like, I feel like there's some people when they get sick or diagnosed or something, they can retract and kind of get into that victim type, like, defeated. Oh my gosh, this is happening to me, where you were like, no, I'm going to take control of this. I'm going to make this happen. And it, like, you can see how that just completely, like, made your outcome what it is.
Thank you.
And listening to your gut too, because we were talking on a podcast earlier about how like, oh, I had this certain job and I got fired because I wouldn't sleep with my boss. Like, I didn't know at the time like what I could do and what I couldn't do, but I should have just done what I felt like doing. You know, and that's what you're saying is like advocating for yourself. And if you don't feel right and you want a second opinion, like do it. It's not hurt. You're not going to hurt anyone's feelings. And if you do, fuck them.
It's not about anyone else's feelings other than your own.
Yeah.
Right.
And I think a lot of people feel bad. They're like, bitch. And I'm like, okay, but it's your life. Like,
right.
If you want to break up with your significant other and ditch your whole family and go live on an island until you pass away because that's what you want to do with your journey, go fucking do it.
Yeah.
Like, this is your life. This is not their life. They're not going to look back in 10 years and be like, well, I'm glad she did it my way.
Right.
You know, you're going to look back in 6 months and be like, God, I wasted so much time with these stupid fucking people that don't actually care about me.
Right.
You know, and it's just been great to really get that, like you said, like that confidence and that, like, I don't take shit from anybody anymore. I'm like, I don't like you. I don't want to be your friend anymore. Yeah. Like, yeah, we were friends, but it's just not working for me.
Yeah.
And that's okay. Not everyone vibes together. And that's something I can be thankful, I guess you would say, for cancer is I'm just like, yeah, I don't like this situation. I don't like this. I don't like you. Like, you're a great person and all, but we don't mesh, and that's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Feel that.
Absolutely.
Which is really hard. But
yeah, I'm sure that can be difficult, but at the end of the day, good for your overall mental health. And you just, you know, life's too short. Like, you just need to surround yourself with who and what you want to surround yourself with.
All that positive energy.
Right.
What's positive for you?
Yeah. What works best for you? Like, some people do not want to talk about their diagnosis. They don't want to tell anyone they have cancer because there's a weird, because I don't think this way. So to like experience it myself is like this judgy vibe you get from people and you're like, oh, you have cancer? It's like you get like really pitied and then you get a microscope on you talking about everything you do wrong and this is why you got it and you should be doing this and you should be doing that and it's just really overwhelming. And then there's a flip side to that with survivors, which I'm dealing with now is, oh my gosh, how did you do it? You got to talk to my family. You got to tell my sister how, and I'm like, I don't know why I'm surviving, you guys. Like, it's a luck of the draw. Like, my doctor said, you're a victim in a drive-by shooting and you're the one that got hit. There's no rhyme or reason. I'm just doing the best that I can. And I'm super thankful for it, but stop hounding me to give you a secret because I don't have one.
Yeah, so now you have like this guilt or this accountability that
it's called survivor's guilt,
Yeah.
and a lot of people deal with it.
Yeah.
You're like, I don't know why I'm doing so good. I don't know why my hair grew back. I don't know why I don't have to have surgery. Like,
it's a large burden because it's like you want to help because you know how it feels to be given that diagnosis, but also like
you want to get back to your life.
Yeah, I don't know.
And I'm like, I don't have a magic answer for you. Like, I do as much as I can to talk about how I did it and what worked just in my heart and what I followed. Like, I didn't have any guidance from anybody.
Yeah.
It took me 2 years in my diagnosis to find anybody that was surviving stage 4, you know, and I just did what was right for myself. And there's a lot of people that are like, oh, well, you didn't have to have a mastectomy, so obviously your cancer wasn't that bad. And I'm like,
holy shit, people have balls.
Wow.
The messages I get are fucking insane. Like, I just delete them now. I'm like, you know what, fuck you, bye. But it's like, no one owes anyone else anything.
No.
They don't. I don't owe anybody an explanation. I don't know why I'm doing so great. Just like the person going through cancer doesn't owe you a reasoning or explanation or to tell you what they want if they don't want to. And it's just a lot of like finding that strength to like get through the bullshit and being like, I'm doing the best that I can. And if that's not good enough for you, then sorry. Like, sorry, not sorry.
With that being said, what would you say to, like, how can someone support someone in their life that has cancer or maybe has just been diagnosed with it? Like, what would you say? Because like people, when I went through a miscarriage, people were like, what can I say to someone who just went through one? And it's all it's personal. So like what I wanted was not what Brooklyn wanted or Jenna wanted.
Right.
But for you, like, what would you say?
But pretty much the same thing. And I tell, when I get this question from other people, I'm like, ask them. Ask them what they need.
Yeah.
Just flat out be like, what can I do for you? And some days it's like, nothing, please just leave me alone. I just want to be by myself watching movies. I don't have the capacity to talk to anybody, but I will reach out when I'm ready. And that's the core people I found in my life are the friends that like don't get their feelings hurt that I don't hang out with them or that I don't call them. I'm like, I'm just trying to survive every single day, you guys. And there's nothing wrong with literally going, what can I do for you today? What do you need? And I'd be like, I just want to have a cup of coffee. I would love if a coffee was sent to my house. I don't want to get out of bed. I don't want to talk to anybody, but I would love a coffee. Boom, coffee on my doorstep. Exactly what I needed today. Or I need to go to dinner. I need to get out to my boyfriend. I need to go on a vacation. I need to go to a hotel somewhere and just like lounge around. Like, that's what I need. And there's nothing wrong with telling people exactly what you need. And if they're capable of giving it to you, then great. And if they're not, at least they asked you.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But you have to, as the person going through cancer, you have to open up and be like, I need you to stop telling me it's going to be okay, because I don't know if it's going to be okay. And you telling me it's going to be okay is frustrating because I don't feel that. And now you're making me feel guilty because I'm not all like, yeah, guys, I'm totally going to be okay. Yeah. There's days that I would lay in the shower and I'm like, I'm not fucking okay.
Yeah.
Like, there'd be days that I'd be like, try not to cry. Like, laying on the ground, like.
We have TP.
Yeah. I've got,
in their butt.
she stuffs some underneath my butt. Okay. Like, there would be days that I'd be, like, laying on the ground, like, I'm not going to survive this. Like, I'm never going to see my nieces that weren't even, like, a thought yet. Like, there was so many days that I was like, I can't fucking do this. And even now, like, I work a full-time job. I do everything I can to help other people. I try to, like, I never say no to anything, which I need to start doing more, but
we've had podcasts about that.
You know, like, because I'm like, there was a time that, like,
it's called an overgiver.
Yes.
A professional overgiver.
Because there was a time where I'm like, I don't know if I'll ever be able to wake up and make that cup of coffee again, you know, and it just becomes so overwhelming. But to, like, draw yourself back in, and, like, I've gotten better at, like, texting my friends and family, like, hey, I'm not okay today, but I'll be okay. But, like, if you don't hear from me, I just need a minute, you know? And it's just finding whatever works for you. If you're a loud ass bitch like me and you want to, you know, scream this from the rooftops, then do it. But if you don't want to tell a single soul, that's okay too. There's just so much, like, you don't look like a cancer patient. You don't act like a cancer patient. Well, what the fuck does that mean? Yeah. Everyone's journey is different. We could have the same cancers, and your journey is completely different from her journey and my journey, and that's okay. And that's kind of what I just try to, like, put out there is, like, you can freaking do whatever the fuck you want. Like, you have cancer, start an OnlyFans. If that's what you want to do it. I'll support you. I'll fucking pay every single month if that's what you want to do. Do whatever makes you fucking happy, and fuck everybody else.
That's been, like, my mantra for life in general.
Yeah.
So I can't imagine how I'd be feeling about it if I was in your shoes. I'd be like,
that's amazing.
Even
to
more
have
hardcore.
That from the beginning of your life.
I know.
Well, it took a little while. I was always a little bit of a rebel. Like, if you don't like it, go fuck yourself.
And it took me a long time to get to that. It was to the point where I was like, what is your opinion? You're not my doctor. You're not my family. Like, and I've, you know, I don't speak to my father anymore because he was causing me a ton of stress. And I was like, I can't fucking do this. My life is too short for this. That relationship, I was like, sorry. Like, I tried, out the window. Friends, I'm like, if you're not going to support me the way that I want it, and I'm not asking for a ton, then go find another friend that's not sick. Don't know what to tell you.
There you go.
Sorry.
1 second.
Oh, man.
Nick, the address here, I totally forgot about it.
Is he coming here?
Yeah, because I was going to leave my car here, and then because we're going to dinner. He hasn't texted me, though, and he's supposed to be here in 14 minutes, so.
Like, hope you're close.
Just going through the questions really quick, seeing if there's anything.
I did want to ask, like, obviously you said it's different for everybody, but I was going to ask, like, what your life looks like now as far as, like, month to month. Like, what is your, you know, you said you take your chemo pills daily. Do you go back in for scans? Because I see on your social that you do. So is that, like, a routine thing, or, like, how does that look for you?
So I do chemo 3 weeks on, 2 weeks off, and then I do scans every 6 months, and that will be for the rest of my life.
Okay.
Forever and ever.
Is that what chemo is when you go in for chemotherapy? Like, when you're in it, like, is it an IV or is it a pill, or, like, what?
So when you're going in for chemo, that's like, I don't know if I can pull it down, but, like, you can see my nice little scar right there.
Yeah.
So I had a port, and the port they would pierce it and inject the chemo there. It would go straight into my biggest vein and right down into the middle of my heart.
Yeah.
And
battle wounds.
Yeah, and the reason why is because chemo is very, very hard on your veins, and some people that do it through their arms can lose their veins completely.
Oh, wow.
Because it's poison. You're poisoning your body. And a lot of things that people don't know is chemo kills everything in your body. So, like, it's killing the cancer, but it's killing every cell.
All the good stuff,
everything. Too. My skin changed, my hair changed. Like, we look back at photos, I'm like, oh my God, I was so skinny. It's because I was dying. Like, yeah, it was working, but I was dying every day. So now it's just maintenance. I'm on, like, a maintenance therapy now. Just, we hope that this works forever, and if something comes up, then we attack it then. And I had asked my oncologist, I'm like, okay, give it to me straight. Like, should I have kids? Should I let my partner go? Should I get married? Like, what should I do? Like, am I going to be around? And she's like, we only concentrate on decades. You are going to be here for decades and decades, no matter what we got to do. And I'm not going to stop until we've gone through every single option and every single therapy and every single treatment. And so now it's just hoping, praying, wishing, doing my best to stay positive and hope that my next scan is clear. And if it's not, then I'll just tackle it then. But I don't concentrate on the cancer. I concentrate on my next adventure, my next business, my next vacation, my next something. Like, I've never Googled my diagnosis. people ask me if I'm like HER positive, and I'm like, I have no idea. That's up to I know I have stage 4. I know it's ductal carcinoma. I know it was really bad, and I'm in remission. That's my doctor's job. My anxiety can't handle knowing everything about it.
Yeah.
I can't do it. So I just concentrate on living life and being the best person that I can, and really, I want to make my kids proud. Like, if I pass away someday before they're old enough, I want them to be able to look back at YouTubes and this podcast and be like, wow, my mom did that. And that's my goal. And that's just kind of what I do.
Okay, wait, hold on. Do you have kids?
No.
Okay.
I have my eggs frozen, though.
Yes, okay.
So we're
Gotcha.
we're in talks of a surrogate. We actually just
that's
had
what I was wondering if you had to...
Yeah, I
okay.
can't carry because the hormones that you have when you're pregnant will cause me to have a relapse. And I've asked my doctor probably 400 times, and she's like, yeah, no. Because I'm like, that was robbed from me. Like, I'll never carry a child, never birth a child, and then I have to pay for that. It's freaking expensive.
That should be covered at this point.
You would
That's
think
insane.
Yeah,
Men's
definitely.
like hair loss is fucking covered.
Or maybe people donate surrogacies for people that can't.
I wonder
if there's something like that.
I have a friend that is interested, and we're going to have some conversations about what she's looking for. And after the People magazine article came out, I actually had a foundation, a lady that works for a foundation, reach out, and they're going to waive their $37,000 fee for the agency to help facilitate all of that. I was trying to do it. I was like sobbing, and I was like, that means we can have a baby sooner. But it just helps because I was trying to do it by myself, but it's like, any person can pop out a bunch of kids and not take care of them, but I have to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that I'm sane, that I'm not forcing her to carry my child, that he's sane, that she has the support. And I'm like, why do I have to prove to anybody? Like, she wants to carry it, I want a baby, and I'm going to pay her money for it. So what is the fucking problem?
Oh my gosh, homeless people can have babies.
Anybody can have a baby.
Anybody.
That's insane.
I mean, you see it all the time. People drop them off at fire stations, or they just leave them in the car. And like, I'm like,
that is crazy.
I literally am dying to have a child. Like, I'm going to pay upwards to $30,000 to have a single baby. Like, and that's not even the bills. I have to pay for everything.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, start a GoFundMe. And I'm like, I've been down that road, and the stress is just not fucking worth it. Like, I'll figure it out.
Well, hopefully this foundation you can work with. And
It's a very good, we're having a meeting next week, and I'm very excited. Yeah, I think baby year will be 2024. COVID kind of fucked up a lot of shit, so we're trying to buy a house next year, now that the market's finally coming down, and once we're settled from that, then it's time to have babies. We want to, so knock them out of the park. I'm like, please let her want to carry twins, because I just want to pay one time and like.
Right? Yeah. Twins will fuck your body right up, though.
Yep.
I'm like, okay, if you're not going to charge me, I'm going to pay for your mommy makeover. One of the two. Like,
yes. There you go.
Yeah,
That's a great
No, she's a good friend from high school, so if she wants a mommy makeover, I'm definitely going to take care of her. Like, whatever she needs to give me, like that's just such like a precious gift that you could ever give somebody.
Yeah, that's amazing. So I'm wondering, since your article came out, or were you posting and doing all of this before then too?
I've been posting this since, I've posted everything in my journey since day one.
So are you surprised by how many people are like coming forward and have cancer? Are you like, because it's just like reinforces, like, you told me I was too young to have cancer, but every single girl that I'm talking to is under 35. Yeah, that's
or was diagnosed under 35. 27, 24, 21, 18, 11.
Yeah, so what are the doctors what are they telling these girls? Like,
same
what's
thing.
crazy?
Oh, I don't know. You're fine. Well, that's weird. Like, I tell people, I'm like, when you go to get checked, if you need a mammogram, lie. Say your aunt has cancer, your mom's mom has cancer, your dad's mom has cancer.
Yeah, do what you've got to do.
Lie. You have to lie about your history. Have to. You'd be like, yeah, my mom's sister has cancer, and so does my dad's sister. Like, no. Or you're not going to get it.
Yeah.
You're not going to
get it.
So
unfortunate.
That's a shame. That's just,
it's
terrible.
Just crazy, and I hope that everything that I do and the messages that I love getting are like, I wasn't going to schedule my mammogram, but I did because I saw you.
Well, you're making me want to.
Do it.
So, there you go.
You shouldn't, like, if you're having any doubts or anything is wrong, like, go until there is no room left. Like, every test, every biopsy, every scan, like, it sucks. It's super scary. But, like, my life is a fucking nightmare. Like, I would give 10 years off my life to go back and not do this. Like, I would sell my soul to the devil to not have cancer. Like, I cannot express to people how much this is not fucking fun. Like, the People magazine, and I just filmed Dr. Phil. Like, that's cool. But is it cool because I have cancer? Absolutely fucking not. Like, I'd rather be a no name to anybody and not have cancer than deal what I have to deal with. Yeah. Which is, like, a whole other guilt that I have is, like, I mean, I've modeled for my entire life, and it's like, oh my God, I'm doing all this cool shit, and I'm saving lives. But then I literally sob on the way home because I'm like, no one saved my life.
Yeah.
No one told me to go get another scan. There was nothing on the internet that told me, and I didn't know it until I had cancer. Yeah. Like, how is that fucking fair? Like, I hope you go get your mammogram. Wish someone would have told me to do the same thing, or someone would have told me how to do it. You know, so it's just a really hard situation where I feel like a lot of people think that like I'm super excited and like I'm like, oh my god, this is so amazing, which it is. But there's a huge wave of like, I don't get to get saved. I still have to have cancer. I go home at the end of the day and I'm still the one living the nightmare. And it's really, 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 really hard. So if you can like avoid that by going and get your mammogram and you're scared or it hurts, I would trade lives with any single human on this planet. Like,
would things be different if they had given you a mammogram earlier?
I would hope so. Do I know for a fact? No. Could it have happened after the cyst? Maybe. But was it behind the cyst? Maybe. But at least we would have had more, you know, like at least I wouldn't have just been kicked out the door and been like, you're good to go, see you later.
Yeah.
And have this anchor of like, you could have stopped it. I could have been stage 1. Maybe I was stage 4 then, but at least it would have been like, dude, they fought for me. I got every testing. Thank God we found it. Because maybe it wouldn't have spread to both lungs, my sternum, and a lymph node. Maybe it just would have been just my breast and the lymph node. Then it would have been like, okay, like not too bad. We can handle this. But now I'm literally living a nightmare for the rest of my life. Like, unfortunately, my kids are going to have a sick mom. My partner has a sick partner. I have, you know, my nieces and my nephews, like, I can't run around with them like I used to, you know. I have to be like, okay, Auntie needs a break. Like, I'm really tired. Yeah. You know, so it's just a really hard situation to navigate, and it's just never-ending learning of how to continue to live life with a chronic illness.
Yeah. Yeah, that's really tough.
Do you remember, like, that moment where you're like, my life's about to change?
Oh, yeah. It's burned in my brain for the rest of my life. Like, I knew when I went in for the ultrasound and the mammogram, the tech was doing the ultrasound and then moved me to the mammogram room, and then moved me back to the ultrasound, then she'd go and talk to a doctor. Then she'd come back and do another image and then take me back to the mammogram room. And in those moments that I was waiting by myself in the room, I was like, literally, it feels like your heart literally falls out your ass. And you're just like, fuck.
Yeah.
Fuck. Like, that's all I can think of. I was like, this is going to suck. You know, like, but like, what, like, I was just kind of like, what am I to do? Go home and cry about it? I don't know what's happening. I don't know what's going to happen next. Like, I'm just going to go back to work. And I was just kind of numb for a really long time. Yeah. The appointment where they told me, like, it's definitely cancer, my boyfriend was at that one, and I don't remember. I remember hysterically sobbing and him trying to walk me out the door. And I will never forget, everyone's face in the lobby looked so sad because I was just, like, hiccup, like, like he's trying to, he has my bag and thing, the doctor's trying to talk to me, and I'm just like, there's nothing. Like, I just blacked out. Like, I don't remember anything. Just getting in the car and being like, then for some fucking reason, we decided to go to Panera and have breakfast. And so there's, like, a picture of me, and I'm like, fuck, you know? And he's like, why did we go to Panera? I'm like, I don't know. I was in shock. I think you were in shock. We didn't know what else to do, so we went and got breakfast.
Yeah. I mean, why not?
Bagel. Like,
do
I don't
what
know.
you want to do, right?
Yeah, I was like, and that's just kind of how we've been. Like, we're like, okay, well, that appointment down. Like, what do you want to do now? And I'm like, I don't know. Just go to work or go on vacation or something. Like, life's not going to stop. I can't. Like, I wasn't never going to sit in a ball and cry and, like, be like, oh, my God, my life's fucking over. I'm like, all right, time to figure out life now.
Well, you're doing it. You're living it. Whatever you're doing, it's working. And
thank you.
Yeah.
I feel very, very, very fortunate to be where I am. And even on my worst days when I'm just, like, crying on the internet, which I feel is stupid, but it's like, if I scare you enough to go get a test, then, you know, what I'm going through is worth it. And I have 2 beautiful nieces now, along with several nieces and nephews on his side. And I just look forward to, like, when do I get to see them next? When do we get to hang out with the kids? When are we buying a home? When do we go on this vacation? And I really, truly believe that anything that you're going on in your life, if you really focus on the positive while taking care of the negative, you're going to have a better balance in your life. You're not just going to be, like, in this dark cloud all the time of, like, oh my God, I have to do this, and this. Like, okay, do it, put it behind you, and here's the cool thing that you're going to do. Yeah. And I just, like, always try to set goal. Yeah, I always try to set positive goals. Like, we're doing Tahoe in December and Cabo in January, and we're going to Tokyo next December. Like, I'm like, okay, like, I'm not going to not think about the future. Yeah. Will I get there? I fucking better. Will I? No one knows that. No one, if any of us will make it till next year. No one knows that. But I just try to set those goals so I'm not concentrating on cancer the entire time.
Yeah. It's really smart. It's really good advice.
Yeah.
It's helped me a ton. Like, I'm like, I don't know. I go to the doctors. They do tell me what to do. It's working. And then, like, I just want to go on vacation. I just want to go work. I love my job. I want to, like, hang out with my friends and see my family. And it just helped me the entire time. Like I said, I don't concentrate on cancer. I concentrate on the next adventure. And it's just something that's really worked for me.
Yeah. I feel like it's given you such great perspective that a lot of people don't have in their everyday life. You know what I mean? We just go work, we do this, we go, you know, where you're like intentionally living your life.
And I'm super, like, I love waking up making coffee. I'm like, this is fucking awesome, because I could not be doing this right now. Like, I just don't let little things really get to me. And I mean, I'm human, and sometimes I'm like, why are you so upset over this petty thing? Like, this isn't, okay, on to the next thing. Like, whatever. Yeah. I do my PET scans by myself still, and I take myself to the same spot. I go have breakfast at the same place every single time. And it's just like my routine. And I'm like, I'm not going to make this a big deal, but it is. And I'm going to help save lives. But in my head, it's just another scan. It's all right. You just go get your breakfast afterwards. That's your goal. And then, like, I ride my motorcycle there. I put on my, like, titty Vans that I got when I was in there.
Your titty Vans?
Yeah.
What are your titty Vans?
What are titty Vans?
Vans did a whole breast cancer line. I think you can still find them on, like, eBay and stuff. And it says, you got this. And it's all different skin tones on the slip-ons. And then the O's are tits. And they have little nipples on them and everything.
Oh, my God, that's
so
so
I
cute.
ride my Harley to my PET scan with my tit shoes on. And the whole time I'm like, I got this. Like, just fucking do it.
That's amazing.
How do you switch gears with that soft canvas on top?
Definitely
I feel like
with my tiptoe.
I was just like, that would hurt your fucking toes.
I usually wear my boots a lot, but, like, you can definitely ride in whatever you want to. But yeah, because I mean, I'm at Hogue Newport and I'm in Huntington Beach, so it's like a 15-minute ride for me. But it's just like, okay, I concentrate on the riding. I'm not concentrating on getting to the scan or, like, the stress of the scan. Like, I just always try to make something, like, positive. Like, this fucking sucks, but at least I get to do this, you know? And
some sort of reward
something,
factor.
yeah.
That's how everyone should look at everything.
Truly.
Whether they have cancer or not. I feel like I need to do more of that, too.
Yeah.
I mean, I get it. Like, I still get wrapped up in everyday life, and I don't have this, like, I never had this, like, huge epiphany of, like, oh my God, I'm going to change my life, and now I have this second chance. I'm like, I'm just super thankful for everything that I get to do, and I just have goals that I'm not ready to not do yet. And I just feel like I don't stress so much when I'm like, this stress is a temporary moment to get to the goal.
Yeah.
And I think if everyone tried the best they could to think of, like, okay, this really shitty day is just a temporary day, a temporary moment, a temporary appointment to get to this really cool fucking thing.
Yeah.
I think it's just going to help you get past that mental block of, like, this fucking sucks. And I'm like, yeah, I know.
Yeah, it's cyclical. Anybody's life, like cancer or not, like it's going to do this. So I think you're just such a great example. Like, it's just amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Such good perspective. And, like, I feel like if a lot of people could think like you think, I feel like people may make better choices.
100%.
And
be a lot happier.
More. Like, because I do think it has to do with your brain and how you think. And
mindset is everything.
it's so important.
Yeah,
and
I
the
totally
energy that
agree.
you're putting in your body and with that,
And that
who
you're
you
putting
allow,
out and attracting to yourself,
all of
too.
that. Yeah.
I mean,
It's
if you're
so
negative
crazy.
and you're not happy and you're miserable and you concentrate on the miserable, you're just bringing attention to the miserable, and that's all you're going to get back. Like, like The Secret is huge for me.
I was literally just going to say it's
100%
cheesy,
believe.
but it's so true.
I love it.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, but you have to give into it. You can't half-ass it.
Yeah.
And I definitely learned the hard way. And, you know, with my job, my job's commission-based. So, like, if I don't put in the hard work and the dedication, I'm not going to get it back. And this job is super important because it allows me to do things like this with you guys. I'm not tied down to a desk, which I was like, I will never work a 9 to 5.
Yeah.
I can't survive cancer and then sit behind a desk all day long. So you have to hustle. And the only way to do that is by having the hustle mindset of, like, okay, next. Okay, what's the goal? Like, you have to make goals. If you don't have a goal, like, what are you working for? What is your purpose? What is your progress? Like, what are you doing? What are you doing with your life? And if you don't have it doesn't have to be a major goal. It'd be like, on a TV show or to the moon. Like, it could be like, I just want to make it to the end of the week without having a breakdown.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Yep.
I just want to make enough money to go get my hair done. That's a perfect goal. Do it. Nothing is too small to be a goal, because it's only going to lead to bigger goals, because you're putting that habit in your brain of, like, temporary moment leads to positive reinforcement, which is the goal that I set for myself.
Right.
And it just really works really well for me.
Yeah, I love that.
Awesome.
I love that.
So good.
Well, thanks for coming down here and sharing your story with us and helping everybody out. I feel like we can all take a little bit of, like, what you said, like, I think, and apply it. I think that's great. Is there any parting words or anything that you'd like to share?
I mean, you can follow me on social media, and every day I post of ways to be positive and the goals that I'm going through. And I'm very raw and honest. I mean, you've seen my videos. I'm crying on the internet when I'm having a bad day. I'm definitely not a perfect person.
Relatable?
Super,
yes.
I really wanted my journey to be relatable. I didn't want to be curated and, like, perfect pictures and, like, never show, like, the hard moments. Like, I show the scars, the blood, the tears, the you know, really bad mental days and all that stuff. And I just feel like if you can share my story and with someone else and save their life, or it changes your life, then my mission is accomplished. And I'm just so thankful for everything that has happened, especially this year. This is my biggest year of media since my fight, and I just want to save other people's lives. And if you're going through a hard time, just remember that like you can set that goal to get yourself out of it, even though it may seem impossible. I literally just did a training right before I came here at work of overcoming the impossible. Like nothing is impossible. You can make it happen no matter how you have to, how long it takes. It took me 4 years to get to this point, you know, and it's just about hard work and dedicating yourself to it, and just keeping those positive goals in mind is like my number one thing to anybody going through it. Or another thing that I can say is if you have someone in your life that's going through it, like your daughter, your mother, go to therapy yourself, because me as a cancer patient, I don't have the capacity to take care of everybody else.
Yeah.
And that's a big thing I tell people. Like I told both my parents, I'm like, you have to go to therapy because I cannot handle your emotions. I have enough guilt as it is. I already don't like that you guys are seeing me go through this, and I'm a very public person about it. And it's just helped. Like I've gone through therapy. You posted about couples therapy the other day. It's super, super important. And you have to be mentally strong to support your people going through this. Yeah. And if you need it, do it. There's nothing wrong with it. And if you're a cancer patient, go to therapy. Like I need to get back into a therapist because I stopped for a while because I thought all was good. And I'm just like, okay, I got to get back into therapy. Like it's a fantastic tool.
I totally agree. Yeah. I'm all for counseling, therapy, 100%. All of it. Yeah. I think it's...
Find the right therapist and someone that's really going to be on track. And I fired a therapist before. I was like, you're great, but we don't align. Like what I'm trying to get out of this is not happening. So I just need to find someone that's there for me.
Yep. Yeah, I totally agree.
Such good advice.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So awesome.
Yeah, for sure. Well, we'll leave all the links in the description box below. And if you are on, I always say this, I swear, I'm the only one that ever says this. I'm like, if you're on Spotify, then you can watch on YouTube. Okay, you know all the shit, guys. We'll put it all in the description box. Thanks for watching, guys. And we would love for you to check out all the links and stuff in the description box and talk amongst yourselves in the comments. And thanks, Philicia, for coming and joining us.
Yes. Cheers to remission.
Yay!
And staying there.
Cheers.
Woo! And babies.
And babies.
2 of them.